Have you ever wondered why so many ancient cultures tell the same story? A group of powerful beings watching humanity, guiding civilizations, teaching knowledge, and then something changed. Some traditions call them gods, others call them angels. The Book of Enoch calls them the Watchers, or, in another ancient name, the Grigori. But what if the word watcher wasn't describing what they are? What if it was describing their role? Welcome back. I'm Laura, and in our previous videos we explored the possibility that the gods of ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, India, and even the Orishas may not have been completely separate beings at all, but different cultures describing members of the same heavenly hierarchy. Today I want to explore another possibility. What if the Watchers weren't a separate class of angels? What if they were simply members of that same hierarchy who shared one responsibility to watch over humanity? And what if a small number of them chose to break the very laws they had been sent to uphold? So who were the Watchers? The word Grigori comes from a Greek word meaning the watchers, or those who remain awake. It doesn't necessarily describe their appearance, but it describes their function: to observe, to guide, to oversee. That idea appears in more than one ancient tradition. Throughout mythology, we repeatedly encounter divine beings who seem deeply interested in human civilization, teaching them, protecting them, guiding rulers, influencing cultures, watching. Perhaps Watcher wasn't one specific order of angel, perhaps it was a collective responsibility shared by many heavenly beings. According to the Book of Enoch, around 200 Watchers made a decision that would change human history. Rather than remaining within the boundaries of their mission, they chose to interfere directly with humanity. The Book of Enoch says they descended together, made an oath upon Mount Hermon, not all because they hated humanity, but because they wanted to become more deeply involved in it. And that's an important distinction. Many later traditions describe these beings simply as evil, but the earliest text is more nuanced. Some appear driven by desire, some more by curiosity, and perhaps believed humanity was ready for knowledge it had not yet earned. Their actions, rather than necessarily their original intentions, are what led to catastrophe. So what did these beings teach? Enoch says the Watchers shared knowledge they had previously kept hidden: metalworking, weapons, astronomy, astrology, enchantments, medicine, the movement of the heavens, the properties of plants, writing, cosmetics, jewelry. Knowledge itself wasn't necessarily presented as evil. The problem was timing. Humanity received powerful knowledge before it possessed the wisdom to use it responsibly. It's a fascinating idea because throughout history, technology has often advanced much faster than human maturity. Perhaps this ancient story asks a timeless question. Can knowledge become dangerous when wisdom doesn't keep pace? Were they all from the same angelic order? Now, here's where I'd like to offer my own thoughts. The Book of Enoch never clearly says the 200 watchers all belonged to a single choir of angels. So what if they didn't? What if the watchers were drawn from several different angelic orders? Imagine members of the virtues being associated with nature, energy, and what later traditions described as miracles. Imagine members of the powers, custodians of order and protection, maybe even principalities, traditionally linked with guiding nations and civilizations, each already working closely with humanity through their own unique responsibilities. Collectively, they were all watchers, not because they were from the same rank, but because they shared the same mission to oversee humanity. So does this connect to the gods of ancient cultures? If our previous discussion has any merit, it raises another intriguing possibility. Could some of the beings remembered as gods actually have been members of this group? Could figures remembered as teachers of agriculture, astronomy, writing, sacred knowledge, or civilization itself have originally belonged to the heavenly hosts, the Egyptian Naturi, the Mesopotamian Anunnaki, the Greek Olympians, the Norse Azir, the Hindu Devas, the Orishas of the Yoruba tradition? Rather than asking whether they were completely different beings, perhaps the more interesting question is which of them remained faithful to their purpose and which ones crossed boundaries they were never meant to cross. Again, it's not a conclusion, just a framework for thinking. The most controversial part of Enoch comes next. It claims that some of those watchers formed relationships with human women, and their offspring became known as the Nephilim. Exactly what the Nephilim were remains one of the greatest mysteries in ancient literature, but perhaps we can imagine. Giants, hybrid beings, powerful rulers, or sometimes symbolic representation of corrupted civilizations. Scholars are still debating this today, but whatever the reason, the story presents one consistent message. When heavenly authority and human ambition become entangled, the balance of creation begins to break down. Whether you have read the Book of Enoch as history, symbolism, or something in between, the story of the Watchers asks remarkably modern questions. Should every discovery be shared the moment it's made? Can civilization advance faster than its wisdom? And who decides when humanity is ready for powerful knowledge? Perhaps the Watchers weren't simply the villains of the story. Perhaps they're more of a warning that knowledge without responsibility can reshape an entire civilization. In our next video, we'll explore what happened after this rebellion, the rise of the Nephilim, and how later traditions connected some of the ancient gods with the beings that eventually became known as fallen angels.